UFC 227 preview and predictions with Brendan Dorman. We will be speaking to the face of Bellator, unretired Richard Kiely, and we recap all the fights from the past weekend.
This is Dad and Till. Tune into Obviously Fight Talk.
Thanks, Darren. Welcome along to Obviously Fight Talk, episode 117. This is Noel O'Keefe, and I am joined by Robert Palin.
You alright, mate?
Yeah, I'm alright. Sure. Isn't life great?
It's great.
Yeah. Fights the weekend, fights this weekend. Sure, what more would you want? Would you know what we want? We want you to subscribe. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. We're also available on the listening stuff. Anywhere you can get your listen to podcasts, but go and listen on Podcast Republic. We're featured there. We're also on Spotify. If you like Spotify, listen there. I like the Christmas of the Sound. Probably no different. I just have it in my head because I like Spotify.
Yeah, placebo effect.
But YouTube, you're watching here, like, subscribe, join the comments. Everyone has a little back and forth each week. Do it. This isn't the only stuff that comes out. So this comes out on a Tuesday for you guys, except on a bank holiday. It'll be a Wednesday. It'll be available. But Rob also has a live chat each week on a Wednesday or Thursday. I think you're going to settle with Wednesdays now.
This week, yeah.
So again, subscribe so you don't miss any of the action. What have we got in you? What have we got even in store for you this week? We've got your quick-fire news. As always, we will be having a weekend roundup where we'll recap all the fights from the weekend. We'll talk about the highlights, really. We'll have a referee's corner with Daniel Movahedi. Mark Goddard's stand-up of the fight at UFC Fox will be the topic of that. The man retired. He's unretired. We are joined by Richard Kiely, the new signing of Bellator MMA, and we will be looking ahead to the fight card this weekend.
I think we'll go deep.
UFC 227. Yo, April. I'm going deep. But let's start with the quick-fire news. So this is your, obviously, Fight Talk quick-fire news. 2 minutes on the clock. We talk about a subject. We've got 2 minutes. If you're a regular listener, sorry, I keep saying it. If you're new, this is a great thing that no other show has ever stolen from us. So 2 minutes on the clock, for example. Champ Daniel Cormier told MMA Fighting during a behind-the-scenes video shoot with Fox Sports last week that he intends to defend his 205-pound title before the end of 2018, before fighting Brock Lesnar. Since then, a former 205 champion John Jones reflected on his time away and said Cormier deserves to be the heavyweight champ, but the 205 belt rightly belongs to him.
Yeah, usually I keep forgetting there's no ding ding ding.
Ding ding.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to see DC defend his title before he faces Brock Lesnar, potentially. I think it'd be good. I don't know who against, though. I'd like to see the Gustafsson fight because that was probably the most competitive one. The other ones don't really interest me a whole lot. Like, do you really want to see him versus Latifi? Or
they're having a bit of a spat, I believe, today, Monday, recording
But does that
day.
fight really interest you a whole lot?
I think Latifi offers him some challenges. I think it's more challenges than if Shogun had got him.
Oh, well, of course, yeah, definitely. But I don't know. I think, like, John Jones is the ideal one. But then you have the argument.
Yeah, when's John Jones?
When's John Jones back? But also the argument of, does he really deserve a title fight coming back? And I think there's a little bit in me that says,
can a man not make a mistake in his life? Recover from that, make another mistake. Recover from that mistake and make another mistake.
He can, and John Jones has.
John Jones. One thing John Jones does not do is learn from his mistakes.
That's what it is, and that's what I was going to say. His comments almost seem like he still hasn't learned. He's like, I'm still a 205 champ. No. Man, you got popped.
Yeah.
You got popped for something. So just admit that, you know, you're not the champ and DC is the champ. I know what he means.
If John Jones can come back, he got stripped of the title because he's John Jones. If he can come back in time, yes, you can't argue. They're giving Brock Lesnar a title shot.
No, you can't. Yeah. Precedent, you can't argue it, but you know, morally, you can.
Yeah, it's probably the one. But like, Gustafsson had to pull out of the fight because he said he had an injury. So interesting to see what that injury is.
Yeah. Just looking at the light heavyweight rankings really quickly, you have Gustafsson number 2, as in number 1, but you know what I mean, after Daniel Cormier, Ozdemir, Latifi, Blachowicz, Manoa, Anderson. There's not really a fight there that interests me a whole lot,
Latifi,
to be honest.
That harnesses his argument together?
No, it does. It just doesn't.
There's the bell, folks.
A whole lot.
Rob loves that.
Well done. Get the phone away from the things making a buzzing sound.
Yeah, go on.
We'll speak about the excellent show that was UFC on Fox 30 after the news, but despite having 3 former champions in the top 3 fights and producing one of the best cards of the year, the show only did a preliminary rating of 1.46 million viewers on the Fast Nationals. The final number will come out today or tomorrow, and it'll likely be higher. The good news for the UFC is that they led Fox to first place in the key 18-49 demo with a 0.6 rating on the night. Should the UFC be worried? The reason why I put this in the news is because I think it's more of an argument of not just should the UFC be worried about ratings in general, but is this more so indicative of the way people watch TV now, rather than the UFC should be worried that nobody's watching fights? It was a great card, and I'm sure a lot more people watched it than we see here, but I just think we kind of underestimate the way people are watching fights now. I think a lot more people stream, maybe illegally. I think a lot more people record fights and watch them after. And I just think that the idea of having to watch something live...
Am I meant to have the clock on here, or are you still saying
this is still a question. Right. I think the idea of having a fight live maybe doesn't mean as much anymore. I think a lot more people... No, it does for me and you. But maybe for people who aren't really, into fights as much or into live sports as much, maybe it doesn't matter that much. They'll still watch it.
Well,
press the buzzer.
Yeah, well, there's this new thing as well with, I don't know if you have it in the news because I have not prepared for the news today, this 11 sports thing.
Sure.
And that's going to be...
It is in the news.
It's almost like going to... Oh, right, so...
Yeah.
This is sort of what you were talking about, that, it's changed how people watch television. I'm in my mid to late 30s and I still watch television, but... As in, I watch live sports television. I don't really watch telly anymore as telly. For example, the weekend I thought, that Lawyer programme looks good on ITV. I went on the dodgy box and they're all there. I don't have to watch every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all there, watch it. So people watch it differently. You're right in that. But yeah, the numbers still are fucking shit. The fact that it's on free TV and the fights that we're on, I don't know, do you have to pay the way, like it's called free TV, but do you have to pay the way we pay for like BT
I think it might be like cable.
Here?
I think it might be cable, you know. But it's also the lowest rated show so far.
That's insane, yeah.
Isn't that insane? Based on the card, 3 champs. Yeah, Joanna, who seems to be a pretty big draw. You have Jose Aldo, which he must be a bit of a draw. And then, of course, the main event as well. So it's a weird one.
But do you know what it is that every time Dana White used to be on all his vlogs and all, he always used to say the UFC is the biggest ground sport in the world, and they really flog that. And a lot of people believe that. But if you look back over the figures, they only have so many shows that really spiked to like a level that you go, holy shit, this is a huge sport. It seems to have a sort of a level field, and it spikes. The likes of when Brock, as we just spoke about, comes, or when Conor fights, it's going to spike significantly.
Yeah.
And I just think people don't have... This is the whole WWE phrase we live in with MMA, and in a way it's heightened it, but at the same time it's taken away from the purest of the sport. But this is the problem, is that they try to hype such small things now that the actual big things that deserve hype lose.
As a numbers nerd, though, I will say that looking more into the fact that they did win the big demographic that they were looking for probably says that just not many people watching TV. So,
Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor seems to be drawn closer, and last weekend Khabib said that while he prefers October, he will fight McGregor in November and even September. He also said he intends to put a beating on McGregor for what he said in the past. I want to change his face. Of course, with face I can change his mind too. Do you think the fight happens this year?
I do. I'm more on board with it. I think for a while I was very negative on the fight actually going to happen. Like, not negative on the fight itself. It's a phenomenal fight, but I just didn't think it was going to happen this year. But everything seems to be pointing towards it. Conor didn't speak about it really publicly, but his manager did, or his agent, which is a big thing. Like, his agent's not going to say anything that Conor not allow him to say, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, everything's going to be ran through Conor. That's how kind of big he is. So if his agent said that, then I think it's a big deal. And then, of course, Khabib saying it as well. I think it's going to happen this year.
I agree. And Ariel Helwani calling October 6th. That, to me, if Ariel is saying it as well. And I know a lot of people jump down Ariel's throats and he's negative and stuff like that as well. But he tends to be right on the money when he says these things. So, yeah, I do think it's going to happen. I think some other interesting things will happen as well. The likes of, like, you probably have, like, Artem fighting one of the Khabib's guys or something along the lines like that. I think they'll make it, like, a real heated thing. They're going to use what happened in New York as the huge promotional
that's going to
tool
be everywhere.
Here. It's going to be insane.
They were so upset with it, but it's going to be everywhere.
It really is. But like, I do. I think it's going to happen in October. It wouldn't surprise me if it's done and dusted and we hear an announcement of it pretty soon. But yeah, like, if it happens in October, deadly, because it's not that far away.
Yeah.
If it's November, sure, I'll fucking wait an extra month. But no, I do think it's going to happen. But man, how much is Michael Chiesa not hoping Conor McGregor wins, or he'll never get a title shot, because he's not allowed to be in Conor's presence until July 2020.
Yeah. Remove that restraining order,
Well,
please.
like, it's weird. Yeah, they're fighters. You can fight one another, lads.
That's weird, actually, isn't it?
It is weird.
Not like that fight would ever happen.
Not
but,
that
you know,
it's ever going to happen. Yeah.
what happens if they're on the same card?
They can't ever
They
be on
can't be
the same card.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And like, yes, it's a stupid move, man. McGregor is the big. We're just talking about draws.
He doesn't
and
get
stuff like
pay-per-view
that.
points, though. Well, I highly doubt he gets pay-per-view points, Michael Chiesa. But yeah, I get what you mean. Bellator MMA signed up a huge haul of Irish, UK and greater European fighters last week. The list included recent Tough alum Richie Smullen, former UFC fighter Paul Redmond, Irish MMA stalwart John Redmond, and recently unretired Richard Kiely, Ian Pascu, among others. There's a huge list there. We can go through a few more, but those are the main names that kind of came up.
Man, Bellator. They've signed everybody. Everybody. Like, I'm surprised with the picture I had up on social media with the Brave belt on me. That Brave haven't contacted me. Brave. Bellator Brave was the belt. But yeah, it's look, it's a huge opportunity for a lot of Irish fighters. Like, if you look at there, you've Pedro Carvalho as well. Luke is already there. The two lads are already there. Norman Park and Miles Price have all signed. Richie Smullen, as you said. Kiefer Crosby 4-0. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of fighters signed up. So yeah, amazing for Bellator snapping up. They obviously have big plans coming, looking at Ireland, you'd presume. But interestingly, I don't think we're going to get this covered in a minute 20 seconds, but what does this mean for BAMA?
Yeah.
BAMA have announced 5 gigs, I said 5 shows over the next year in Ireland, in Dublin. And they've literally signed the cohort of their Dublin shows.
Yeah.
Like, out of all of them, every one of them have fought
for BAMA. And you expect them to fight for BAMA.
Yeah.
Unless they have a deal where they can fight for BAMA if they don't have a fight announced, because they have worked together. Yeah. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't be too worried for BAMA just yet. But if their relationship isn't as good as we think it probably is, based on them having shows together, then I would be worried. But I think that they will allow some kind of talent crossover. But who knows if they don't? Man, that is
huge opportunity for a lot of, and I hope Bellator are smart about it. The likes of someone who jumps out for me here off the page, Sam Slater, right? Sam Slater at the last Brave up in Belfast blew me away. Sam Slater has such potential. And I'm not saying other guys don't on that list. I'm just saying one that jumps out for me is Sam Slater. Huge opportunity for a high-level skilled fighter. Like, if you haven't watched the Sam Slater fight, look it back, drag it up on Brave 13. Phenomenal display by a young fighter. And he's someone that, like James Gallagher, I hope that... shut up. I hope that... Bellator build as well, because don't throw them into the lines then, if you like. But I just think huge opportunity, and again, a lot of UK fighters in there as well, like Jimmy Wallhead, usually experienced. But huge amount of signings, man. Unbelievable.
A lot of signings.
It's cool to think about. Like, the second biggest promotion, you could argue.
You'd imagine that they have some kind of plan to do more European Irish shows.
Yeah,
with
UK.
That.
Yeah,
has to be.
So, you may have guessed what the last item on the news is. BT Sports have reportedly lost the rights to the UFC. It's rumoured to be moving to 11 Sports, a new player in the sports broadcasting space. 11 Sports also recently won the rights to broadcast La Liga matches, among other events. Extreme Frisbee, Rob. Interestingly, they also recently agreed for the sports events and talent management company IMG to take the minority stake in its new British channels. The UFC's partner company reporter Jim Edwards said on Tuesday that he has heard from sources that they are very confident of having satellite TV by the time the deal comes into effect, and that selection of events will be pay-per-view. Like McGregor fights.
So essentially, I'm gonna press the button. Ding, ding, ding. So essentially, this 11 Sports, who seem to be buying up a lot of rights, they're trying to get 2 TV channels on Sky, and probably, what do we have, Air, whatever. But
UPC.
If that doesn't, UPC. If that doesn't happen, the majority of the stuff will be on a streaming platform, which is going to be another subscription platform. So a lot of people won't like that. But then also, the report from Jim Edwards is that a lot of the big fights will be pay-per-view.
And because they're in this country, there's a cap on pay-per-view, 25 quid.
You'd imagine it'd be the same. But well.
Nightmare, isn't it? Now, because when I was reading that, I actually didn't see Jim Edwards. And Jim Edwards, excellent reporter. Again,
That just happened today. That report was today.
Jim is like the Jesus. Jim will love
Monday.
me for this. He is like the Ariel Hawani of UK reporting. 9 times out of 10, that's even 99 times out of 100. I'll give you better stats, Jim. When Jim says something, it tends to be right. He doesn't release information without being factually correct. So. That's disappointing in some ways, because I thought reading into it was like buying a subscription to like Netflix or whatever it is, that you pay that extra fee, and rather than it going to like Sky to buy the BT package, it's going to this and you just stream it. It looked like they have an app and they have a satellite thing. So I would imagine if you have a smart TV, you can install the app.
How about if the majority of the events was on that, and then you had a couple, like for me, if I could get, and this was, we got a tweet about this. I can't remember who it was, but they said, if I could get unrestricted access to all events besides a few pay-per-views a year, so say 2 or 3 or 4 pay-per-views a year on Fight Pass. So if I could get all events on Fight Pass plus pay for 2 or 3 pay-per-view events a year, I'd be happy with that. And for me, I'd be happy with that because I like streaming. I'd like a streaming platform, and I don't mind paying 20 quid for a couple events a year, maybe 3 events a year. But for casual fans and for building the sport over here, it's not a good thing.
It could be a killer for it, all right. The likes of, again, it's something I always jokingly say when I'm talking about fights and illegally streaming and Android boxes and all this type of stuff. But that is out there, so you will still get that. Yeah.
If you are in the UK or Ireland and you're listening or watching this, leave a comment and let us know if this will discourage you, or would you buy a UFC pay-per-view in the UK or Ireland, or would you look for an illegal stream? Don't tell us that.
I wonder if they're going to play it that if it's a pay-per-view in the States, it's a pay-per-view for us, or will they only make
Well, no, I doubt that, because then you'd have about 15 pay-per-views a year, and there's no way they'd sell that over here. I think it's just selective. So basically, McGregor fights, pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's only going to be about 3 more of them, so we won't have to yeah,
that's it.
That's about it, though, isn't it? Like, as in, I just hope they keep it capped at that, you know what I mean? That's the way I'd like to see it, because anyway, let's get your weekend roundup and look back at the weekend that was. UFC on Fox 30 happened. 1 championship reign of kings. Katie Taylor defends her title as well. Let's talk more about that now. So welcome back to, obviously, Fight Talk, and welcome to Referee's Corner with Daniel Movahedi. The gentleman returns to the Referee's Corner. Dan, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you very much. Had a good weekend at a friend's wedding, but yeah, all good. I'm back good to be back with you guys.
A little hungover?
A little.
Okay, perfect. So Dan, big fights happened at the weekend. Your good friend and colleague Mark Goddard was in charge at the main event, and he got a bit of flack from some fighters, namely Usman, who then withdrew it straight away when Mark went at him. But it was all because of Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. Eddie Alvarez was in a mount position. I want to talk about this one first. The main fell for the stand-up. So 2 things was he gripped the fence with his left hand under the advice of Mark Henry, right in his corner. He gave a 12-6 elbow on the shoulder of Dustin Poirier, to which Mark Goddard stepped in, stood the fighters up and repositioned them, warned Eddie Alvarez, basically said, they're not my rules, but hey,
they're rules.
They're rules. You've broke them. You've lost position. Let's fight. So, why was that? Or do you need to go into the full amount of fouls? Or was that issue alone, I suppose, warrant to stand up?
Yeah, I think so. I think also the fact that he, like you said, he was gripping the cage and throwing the elbow. The first thing that comes to my mind is that not many fighters, I mean, you would expect at that level, it's still to this day you have fighters going, it's 12-6 to the body, okay? You know? Yeah. It's period. No 12-6 elbows at all, okay? Obviously, when you're in the guard and you're throwing the elbow, the same type of elbow to the head, to the top of the head, that's not classed as 12-6. That's technically classed as 3-9 if you're looking at a clock. Yeah. And then you also have the people going, but what if the clock's on the ceiling? It's still 12-6, you know. I've heard it all, you know. But yeah, you know, you heard Mark warn him twice. First of all, when he threw that first 12-6, then he threw it again. And yeah, he's in a dominant position. And, you know, if Dustin, say he was injured from that, and had to bring the doctor in or whatever, and then he was good to continue, I think possibly Mark would have taken points away.
Yeah.
Just on the basis that Dustin was good, he was like, okay, let's go. And you know what, fair play to him. He didn't milk it out where he could have. He could have taken more time because the foul had been committed to him. He could have taken more time to get a respite. But yeah, you know, and he took that dominant position away from him because he had warned him twice. And let's be honest, 12-6 is one of the, for me, one of the biggest fouls as well as knee down the opponent being near to the head, you know, or kick to the head. You should, as a fighter, know what 12-6 illegal elbows are, whether it's to the body or to the head, especially at that level, you know. And just as well, it wasn't to the head. I mean, that could have, again, imagine if Dustin would have got injured, who knows what would have happened, either a DQ or whatever, you know.
The big thing as well for me with it, Dan, was the fact that he grabbed the cage as well. That's almost anchored him to allow him to throw more forward. And like, it wasn't the strongest.
And that's the thing. That's the point. That's, you know, if your hands are on the cage, that's not a problem. You know, the fighter underneath can move, can try to push you away, shrimp away, buck away, whatever you want to call it. But it's the moment when you put that finger through that cage and your intentions are to hold on so you don't get bucked, so you don't get turned. And that's what he was doing. So whatever Dustin was doing at the bottom, he couldn't adjust his position. Why? Because not only has he got someone on mount, but he's also got someone holding and pulling themselves towards the cage, and then them elbows coming down as well. You know, why should you allow them to keep that dominant position? You know, after doing an illegal technique that kept them there to keep that position by holding that cage. I think that's the other thing you need to look at. It's different if the elbows were thrown and he warned him and Dustin was getting out of there, that's not a problem. The fact that he was holding the cage and he was able to keep that dominant position by holding that cage before the elbows were coming down, that's where the issue is as well, you know. So I think Mark done the right thing and took that position away from him and started him in the neutral position, standing up both fighters, and they go at it again.
Is there anything that can be done about somehow? Because it seemed like Dustin Poirier didn't even know about the rule fully, because when he was talking about it, he said, oh, I looked at Mark Goddard and I said, oh no, it didn't hit me, as in it didn't hit me in the head, so it's not a foul. But obviously it's a 12-6 elbow, it doesn't matter. Is there anything that can be done, or is it just one of them things where fighters need to cop on and referees just have to do what Mark Goddard done and penalise the fighter a bit more? Like,
listen, I know for a fact that Goddard, most, you know, as always, or any referee at that level would have, in their rules talk, was one of the things, down the opponent, outstretched fingers, definitely a 12-6 elbow.
Yeah.
What you can and can't do, whether it's to the body, whatever. And that would have been demonstrated to them what they can and can't do. So for a fighter to go, I didn't hit me, but maybe Dustin was, you know, he just wanted a fight to happen so he could shrimp away. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know why he would have said that, but maybe he didn't know the rules. But again, not just to these guys, but to all the fighters and coaches, they should know the rules. Then you won't end up in situations like this.
I think a lot of credit has to go to Goddard. Mark gets a lot of flack online with this sort of stuff. What I like about what Mark Goddard does is he comes out and speaks about it. Yeah. It's like in other sports, like football and stuff like that, soccer for the American listeners, referees don't really come out and give any reasoning for why they done it, but Goddard doesn't. Anytime. No,
see, here's the difference. The way, even like, for example, when Usman called him out on Twitter, Goddard just gave his exact reasoning under the rule sets, why he done what he had to do, gave his example what he did, what he had to do. And look, at the end of the day, when the referee knows he's in the right, you don't have to explain to people, but sometimes it's good for the fans to understand why he done what he had to do. Same as you got me on here trying to explain it and give an example to you and say why it happened. The way he answered that tweet back was so classy. I thought that was, you know, and him going, well, your demand, if you don't want me to ref your fight, that can be arranged, no problem. Rather than going into him, you know, that could have gone a different route, totally. And then Usman backtracked on his tweet, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I think, Dan, don't take offence by this, but I think Mark Goddard is the leading referee in the business at the moment.
100%. At that level. I would be stupid to disagree, you know.
He keeps a cool head at main events, and every fight he treats the same. I thought it was an exceptional job by him. I think Eddie Alvarez has no one but himself to blame, and of course Mark Henry in his corner telling him to do it. But yeah, classy as always. He also had to deal with Poirier dived on a guillotine And Eddie Alvarez thought, you know what, I'll hold the fence here as well.
And it was also
in bit of an ear hook,
a little fish hook in the ear.
Yeah, like I said, I was at a wedding on the weekend, so it was hard to watch, to try to keep rewatching stuff and look things up. But that ear hooking and putting his fingers in the ear, you know, it's in the rules. You know, no putting anything in any orifices, whether it be the nose, the ear, the butthole, whatever you want to call it, the cuts. Yeah, you're not allowed to put your fingers anywhere like that at all. You know, and for someone to do that. He knew what he was doing. Yeah. You know, he said, you know what, you see it in, if anything, you see it in street self-defense. You know, if someone's there, you know, you hook the nose or hook the mouth or hook the ear, and for that to happen twice, yeah.
You know who would do that? If Carl Doran was a fighter, that is such a Carl Doran move, isn't it? If he was a fighter, he would wear.
Don't get me wrong, it's a good move.
Yeah.
But it's not a place for in the sport and the fight that we're talking about. You know.
Yeah.
Sweet. Dan, as always, thanks for clearing it up. Referee's corner. Short and sweet, but we don't need to exaggerate it or go on about it because we got the facts, we got the man who can tell us. So get yourself some glass of water, rehydrate yourself. How's the tattoo healing? You've a new tattoo with the
tattoo's healing fine, my man. It's healing fine.
Lovely.
That's it's healing fine.
The wife has branded him.
Helen's property.
None of them ring girls are to be looking at you.
They won't be, don't worry.
That's what it
is.
They will. Well done, Helen.
I'm away for 2 weeks, but of course, if I can, I'll try to come on if anything happens, or you want to talk to me whilst away on holiday with a pina colada at hand. Yeah. I'll be more than welcome to accommodate.
Daniel Movahedi on tour.
Yeah. Sitting there with his woolly vest on around the pool.
That's how I'm going. See you later.
See you later, Daniel Movahedi. You're a superstar. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
So Rob, let's keep it swinging. We've heard that little bit about why the fells was happening. So let's recap the weekend's action in your weekend roundup. So this is your weekend roundup. A couple of fight nights went down at the weekend, really, but UFC on Fox. We're only going to fly through these because, look, by the time you're listening to this, you might be going, look, lads, fair play to you, great job. But we're going to talking points here. Dustin Poirier gets the win, and we were talking to Daniel Movahedi about the fells here. 1 point, Rob, it's before we actually get into the fight. With this, is Eddie Alvarez a dirty fighter? I mean, present Exhibit A and B.
Yeah, like, it's hard to say that he's, like, how can you argue that he's not?
Yeah.
That's the thing. But I don't feel that he is. Does that make sense? Does that make any sense to you? Probably not, but
I wasn't angry with him on Saturday night.
No.
I was disappointed.
Oh, Jesus, he'd hate that. No, but I feel like he isn't, but it's hard to argue against it when he's had a string of really poor decisions, I'll say.
Yeah, like he sort of said, like in his first, in the first case, first Exhibit A, he said, you know, he was in fight mode and, you know, you just react to what's happening and whatever. But like the elbow the other night, that was premeditated. Yeah. He looks at his coach and Mark Henry literally gives him the action. And like, oh, okay, coach, and then does it. Defense grab, like defense grab for me is something that you're going to do it when you're caught. But you knew what he was at. But I don't think he is a dirty fighter. I just thought I'd ask. But how impressive was Dustin Poirier?
Very, very impressive. I'm getting more and more impressed with Dustin Poirier as his fights go on.
He's a contender.
He's a contender. Very, very impressed. And he just fights so well as a southpaw. Like when he fights orthodox fighters who have problems with southpaws, he fights just tactically brilliant against them.
Finishing with heavy leg kicks and his combinations.
Beautiful.
Well. And he took Eddie Alvarez off his feet with a couple of leg kicks.
Yeah, beautiful performance. And his left hand, you can't compare it to Conor's because he doesn't have that pop in it. But it's almost as accurate. He lands at will.
He really dirtied Alvarez up with the jab as well. Just worked beautifully behind
his jab is beautiful.
Long. I was surprised that Alvarez stayed in kickboxing distance.
I will say that if Alvarez didn't throw that silly strike from the top, you never know what could have happened in that fight. He was stuck in mount.
He had the neck crank and he was working his way around.
I thought he might have been done there because that looked deep. But
Poirier, we have to stop. It's at the stage now. We got to stop questioning his chin.
Yeah,
he's moved up. That
I think that
part of him still goes, but man, Poirier looked fantastic. I was ultra impressed by him. Well, you call out Khabib. What's next? We all think and what's going to happen is Conor McGregor. So you'd imagine it's going to be Tony Ferguson for Dustin Poirier. But man, the people he's beaten here, 2 former champions as well. You know,
great run. If Conor and Khabib wasn't the fight to make,
if either of them falls through,
Yeah, if he didn't fall through, Poirier should be next in line. I think even over the likes of Kevin Lee. I really do. I think he's on a great run.
Huge impression.
Look at like where
unblock me on Twitter, Dustin.
Yeah,
come on,
unblock and come on the show. Come on, we gotta laugh. Brilliant performance. Yeah,
brilliant performance. Fought through adversity as well. Jose Aldo, we questioned, is he a shell of a man? He looked at not that he looked in trouble and you're like, oh, here we go. But Jose Aldo answers so many questions. Even off John Anik, except his translator was obviously not listening and he just didn't want to say half of what he said. But Jose Aldo, man, how impressed were you?
Very, very impressed. He was hurt early, and not that I like that. I don't want a fighter to get hurt, but I mean, I like that he had to go through adversity, come back and get that finish against a really heavy-handed guy. And that body shot.
What I noticed as well, though, Rob, Jeremy Stephens opened up with a couple of leg kicks, and Daniel Cormier called out, started talking about, we can match him with leg kicks. But when they went up against the cage, and they were landing shots in that, it reminded me a little now, not a lot, so don't jump all over me in the comments, but a little of when Diaz had Conor up against the cage. Conor was rolling with a lot of the shots, and I felt, although he was caught with some shots in there, but a lot of them were missed or landed on the arms.
Yeah.
And then he caught Stephens in that. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was a cut under the eye of Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, as much as in commentary they were screaming, Jose's hurt, and he was going on about, this is what you got to do. You got to drag him into a fight. You got to test his ego. But from that second when they came off the cage, it was Jose Aldo walking down Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah.
The only time Jeremy Stephens came directly at Jose after that was where he threw a good right hand and caught Aldo, but Aldo followed up with a flurry and that body shot.
Yeah.
What did you think of the stoppage? Too soon? Was Jeremy Stephens, he was controlling the wrist, Jose was landing a lot of shots, but he turned over, and DC was going, he's fighting, he's showing the referees in the fight, and it's over. So
I don't know.
What did you think? Too early?
At the time, no. I'll go back and rewatch it, and then I'll give my opinion some other time. But at the time,
I just don't do it for the listeners of the show.
Yeah. No, because the reason why I say that is because I'll say no now because I didn't notice it being an early stoppage, but I could go back and maybe
I didn't think it was. I thought a lot of people question it. It looked fine. Another former champion gets back in the win column, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That was it. Good Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
It was a good fight. Yeah,
takedown defense was phenomenal.
Yeah. Good performance, good all-around performance, great bounce back by Joanna. Kind of what we talked about going into this. I think we all went with Joanna and thought, she lost. I
thought she'd get the finish.
Yeah, she lost to Rose. Maybe that's a bad fight for her. Maybe Rose is just a little bit too good, but she still beats most girls in that division. And in the end, it looked handy enough. In the end,
but I thought she would have done more damage in the clinch. I thought she would have stepped off with elbows.
Yeah, I think Tisha was very, very measured or something, really measured, and I don't think Joanna could really get a whole lot off, and she probably had that in her mind where she just wants to win and get a win.
What Rose Namajunas said, if you call me the best strawweight in the world,
she's never gonna she's never gonna do that. So
brilliant though.
Yeah,
Alexander Hernandez beats Olivier Aubin Mercier. This obviously Hernandez came in with a boom against Beneil Dariush with an absolute flying performance, but in some ways was this a more impressive win?
No.
Perfect. Yeah. Jordan Main.
No, it wasn't a more impressive win.
But it shows he belongs. He can do it all.
The one thing I liked about it was that he beat Olivier in the way that I thought Oliver could have beat him. So I thought that was impressive. But Hernandez, I don't think he loses stock in this one. Maybe to the casual fans a little bit because he didn't get that finish. But it was still very impressive. And Bret Hart made an appearance.
Everyone went mad for that.
Brilliant. Bret Hart's fucking great.
Obviously, the big fight that stands out, I think, for everyone was John McDessie against Ross Pearson.
Yep. John McDessie, Ross Pearson.
Didn't watch it?
Yeah, it was an excellent fight. Go back and watch it.
Yeah. I am going to. I was
probably the best we've seen John McDessie in a long, long time. Excellent boxing. His range was brilliant. Ross Pearson was just throwing hooks and not landing anything. Did land a few shots, but it was just a beautiful performance by John McDessie.
Other fights went down the weekend as well, Robert. Tell us about them.
RIZIN went down. Again, we didn't get to watch all these fights, but the one that I think stood out to most people in this one, you can check it on Reddit because someone put the stream up. Gomi beat Melvin Gillard, a bit of a throwback.
And it looked like Gomi was on his way out and Melvin overcommitted and Melvin got put down.
Yeah, it was a bit of a classic one. Good performance by Gomi. You know, it's Gomi in 2018 and it's Melvin Gillard in 2018. Gillard probably should retire. You know, he's taken a lot of damage.
Bare-knuckle boxing fight soon.
Yeah, he will. The other one that stood out was Darren Cruikshank, who is man. I wish the UFC kept the whole of Darren Cruikshank, or we got to see him a little bit more over, in the States or whatever. But he's a really fun fighter, really fun fighter. Horiguchi also picked up a win there in one championship, which was also on. I think that was on Friday. Gary Tonin picked up a submission victory. Renzo Gracie finished Yuki Kondo.
51 years old. If you want to feel old, you're old. But if you're young like me, you're cool or something like that. Come on, Enzo. Good win as well.
And Shinya Aoki picked up a win. And Martin Nguyen lost his title.
And Eric Katie, Rob.
Katie
Taylor.
Yeah. Defended the titles.
Eric Katie got it done in 3 rounds. We're talking about this at lunchtime at work today. Like, who's going to be Katie Taylor? What does she like? What's the big fight for her?
Ronda Rousey. No, I don't know.
But no, it's weird, and she seems to be dominating. You know what I mean? She has the world titles.
Yeah, no.
She wants to unify the belts, obviously. But like, where does she fight a big event? Like, she's way down that card. Like, try find a highlight of that now. Google that. Try find a highlight. You won't. I've seen the finish, but that's all I've seen. Katie Taylor should be on a world stage. She's that good of a boxer. Like, all the boxers, like former boxers and active boxers, are all raving about Katie Taylor.
She's class. She's a class act. Well done. Brilliant. I didn't watch a whole lot of the boxing. I don't have time. There's too much on.
Too much on.
And I have a life.
You do have a life.
Thanks, man. Usually you say I don't, but thanks.
You're welcome. So that was your weekend roundup. My weekend was full of pos and bottles and fights. And watch Man United get hammered by Liverpool.
Very good.
Only pre-season.
It's grand.
Means nothing. So let's move it on and get on. He was the face of Bama. He's retired.
Unretired,
and he is now the face of Bellator with a huge amount of signings by Bellator MMA of Irish and UK fighters. Richard Kiely was one of the first big announcements. He was on with us literally a couple of wet days ago to speak about retirement. He had this holstered in his back pocket. He was recovering from injury at the time, so retirement seemed to be the talk, but big surprise, he signed with Bellator. So let's get him on, the face of Bellator, Richard Kiely. Welcome back to, obviously, Fight Talk. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will recognise the face of different promotion. But welcome back to the face of Bellator. Welcome along to, obviously, Fight Talk again, Richard. And welcome back from the shortest-lived retirement, possibly, I think.
What can I say? The people want what they want.
So, from our last interview a couple of wet weeks ago, we can only take bullshit was that full interview. But
I said I could lie to you and tell you otherwise, but it was absolute lie, so sorry.
It's grand, you got us viewers. But yeah, my first question is with it, right? Obviously, congratulations, by the way, you signing along with a lot of Irish fighters. Bellator are obviously going to be investing in Ireland, but you were one of the first names to come out of the signing. How did it come about? Was it always in the pipework, as you said? You were lying to us the last time. Was it always there in the background?
Well, come here, it's no surprise that was one of the first names announced. So that was by design by Bellator and what have you. They obviously know that I make a bit of noise, so that's why they signed me up. Or that's why they announced the sign. It's not why they signed me up. They signed me up because I knock out people. But in terms of was it always in the cars? Yeah, come here, listen. I knew they were sniffing around when I was in Bama, and then I knew there was talk. They was sniffing around. There hadn't been anything confirmed or anything, so I wasn't waiting around for anything. Like, I wasn't waiting for them to. I enjoyed my time with Bama. So and then the knee injury happened, and then I had to get surgery on it, and so I wasn't able to do anything. So I just said I'd retire. So just a media whore, man.
Yeah, you really are, you slut.
From when you retired, I think it was May, wasn't it? It was like last month or just over a month ago. When did Bama or Bellator contact you?
They'd been tentative. They'd reached out a couple of times, and then it was just there. All right, whatever now, because I'd heard them that they were reaching out and stuff like that. And then I got a message from Jude Samuel saying, what will it take to get you out of retirement? And I said, it'd have to be something really interesting. And he said, was it money? I said, that always helps. I said, but it has to be really interesting. Like I said, I wasn't doing it, I'm not in it for the money. I was doing it because I wanted to do it. But anyway, he said, he went, he said, leave it with, I said, listen, I have a guy that looks after me. And he said, look, I'll be in contact with him. And so he was. And then they offered me a deal. They offered me a good one. So,
well, like, I'm going to play. You're probably not going to answer, but if I don't answer questions, we won't give out. You said when you were lying to us on your last appearance about retirement that the only thing that would interest you would be a fight with Terry Brazier. Now, it's certain Mr. Terry Brazier, the hide and seek champion of Bama, Terry Brazier.
What's his first name?
He's Terence Brazier. Sorry.
There you go.
So is that the fight that's being offered?
No, there's no fight confirmed yet. But look, come here. Everyone knows that that's on the cards. I don't think it'll be the first fight. But you know, they're after making two. Like, to be fair to Terence, you know, he's a name now in European MMA. I don't know how he's going after fluking his way to get that. But he is a name now. So I think that they're going to build that. They'll build up to that. But like I said, I'm not even looking at him now because he's calling me out now because you know, he has no value. He has no value. He lost those two titles, and like I said, if you compare the noise that was made around my signing versus the noise that was made around his signing, you know, his was a squeak and mine was a roar. So, you know, now he knows that I'm the money fight for him. You know, now he's making all the right noises, but would he take the fight? I've said this before, and I have a lot of respect for Noel Woods and P.T. Carroll's, but in another podcast that I listened to, you know, they were saying that, you know, that's they don't know if it's a fight of substance. I match up, like, in terms of the matchup for me and him, you know, he's not explosive, he's slow, he's a grinder, you know. Now, to fight someone like me that you're a grinder, when I have two legs and two functional legs, not just on one leg, he has to cover that distance. I only need one shot. Any of the other guys he's fought, you know, he's like in his last few fights, he's been rocked. You know, Tommy King knocked him out in a kickboxing fight. Now, no disrespect, I actually like Tommy King, but no disrespect to him. But it's two different levels in terms of striking. You know, and that was with 10-ounce gloves on. If I catch him once with the small gloves on, he's gone. That's just the way it is. You know, he has to cover that distance. He's not mobile. He comes in with his chin up. You know, he really overestimates his ability as a fighter. You know, his last fight against Rhys McKee is a much more talented fighter than him, which just size beat him, you know. So he probably just laid off whatever supplements he's taken to get down to that weight. But you know, he can take any supplements he wants now. If he wants to come up he wants to come back up to welterweight and fight me, because it's not going to do him any good. Like I said, I only need one chance, one shot at him, and it's lights out. You know. So what happened with Daniel Lenacek, you know, was similar size and stature to Terence. You saw what happened to him. You know, he went out, one shot, gone. Same thing happened.
You said
he takes a tougher shot than Terence.
You said as well when your announcement was made with a roar. It certainly came across that way in an article I was reading on Joe.ie. You literally got the whole roster in your weight class in Bellator and absolutely tore through them like a bull in a china shop. Do you think that, like, as in you mentioned that Daley and MVP are one-dimensional? Is that classic Richard Kiely bravado media? Or is that do you agree with that? Like MVP so far?
Like I said, I'm well versed in kickboxing. My kickboxing and striking pedigree speaks for itself. MVP is very good at what he does, and Daley is very good at what he does. But they're both one-dimensional. If you fight into that, if you fight to their game plan, if you fight to their strengths, then they're going to cause you trouble. You know, MVP is only good if he fights at distance. He's a one-shot singular striker, and he looks to time people who are slower than fast, and he's been matched up very favourably in his weight class. You know, if you fight someone who's actually accomplished and striker, you know, all he does is try to break rhythm and fight from distance. You know, but that's easily rectified. It's easily mitigated. You can, you know, he's one-dimensional. You know, In terms of Daley's a powerhouse, likes to stand and bang, slug. You fight him in the pocket, he's going to cause you trouble. But look, let's come here. My very first fight now, I remember the podcast after it, you'd said that I called out Daley and I called out MVP, and you said that's a big set of Irish brass balls, you know. And it's not a big set of Irish balls. I've got a big set of Irish brass balls, but, you know, I'm also a realist, and these two guys can be easily beaten. Like I said, I sparred Lorenz Larkin already, and, you know, he's supposed to be an explosive striker, and I handle him very, very easily, you know. And he asked me to take it down a notch in terms of the intensity. And this guy was 100 kg, and again, pretty heavily supplemented at the time. So, you know, none of these guys don't faze me at all.
Do you think that's the problem as well?
It's not just fight speak, you know. And that's what I said. You hear, like I said, I have a lot of respect for Pete and Niall, but you know, no disrespect to them. I know the game better than them in terms of striking. So, and I know, you know, in terms of, particularly with Terence, in terms of his capabilities, he's slow. He just looks to fucking push against the cage and grind you. You put him going backwards, it's a completely different fight. And like I said, I only need to land once on him.
So was Bellator, the signing is done there, Richard? When do you think it's, because Bellator haven't announced anything over here? I'm right in saying, I know BAM have announced 5 shows, so maybe the share is there if that is still there. Probably have to be, since every BAMA fighter seems to be now signed with Bellator. But what's the plan? How far away are you from fighting, and how's the recovery with the knee? I've seen you back putting up videos and stuff like that, and you look like you're moving fine. How is the knee, and when is the Bellator debut realistically looking at?
Well, in terms of my knee, like, I don't know, it must be a record recovery. I only got that surgery in February, and I'm back sparring, full takedowns, everything now. So it's just about building up, getting the weight down, and getting the fitness levels up, and then be good to go. So I don't know when Bellator are looking to. No doubt I'll hear from them soon. But like I said, I'm in the middle of getting ready right now. You know, I'm training, back training. Like I said, full takedowns, sparring, moving, still dancing, floating around. You know, still very light on my feet, explosive, fast, and powerful. So,
would you have liked to get into that Bellator welterweight tournament?
I said it. If any of those guys drop out, you know, I'll make enough noise. Like I said, I don't see why I couldn't get in. Like I said, I'll make noise, I'll make it entertaining, and believe me, like I said, I'll bring knockouts. Like people are talking about the fucking Alex Lahore fight. That was he fought a guy on one leg and he knew about the knee. You know, so if people are whatchamacallit, like I said, when he was whatchamacallit, that leg was literally the joint was rocking in and out. And I had to wait for him to shift his weight so I could push off, so I could roll him off with my right knee. Couldn't do anything when he had his weight on my left hand side. So now, like I said, I'm coming back, you know, full strength. So there's no reason if a spot pops up in that welterweight tournament that I couldn't take it.
And Noel just said it, and I don't know if you hear anything, but would you expect them to come back to Ireland and obviously the UK soon, considering they signed a lot of Irish fighters and a lot of UK fighters?
Yeah, I'd imagine the first one is either going to be in the UK and Ireland. I imagine it's going to be a big event as well. Considering that they're making this big push, I hear rumours that there's a TV deal imminent. So I expect the show to be in Europe, the first one to be in the UK and Ireland. You know, they're at the signing some. There's potential for some great fights there. So the whatchamacallit, yeah, I'd expect the first one to be either in the UK and Ireland. But it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. And like I said, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be announcing. You know, the build-up will be entertaining. You know, my weigh-ins are more entertaining than most people fight. So,
the last Bama show, the weigh-in was pretty entertaining. You weren't even on that card.
Was that when I gave Alex a hairy side of the hand? Was it?
It might have been.
Yeah. There you go. Daniel was a bit of crack as well.
The thing is, right, with Bama, what was with Bama and with Bellator? I'm doing a comparison here. What's the deal with Bellator? Is it a 3, 4, 5 fight contract? Because I know a lot of times Bama, when they sign fighters, it was a one done and let's see how things go. Did you have any issues with Bama? Were they any way objections? Is it open? For example, we were talking earlier in the show that there's a potential that you could still maybe fight for Bama while being signed under Bellator. Or is it Bellator exclusive?
I can't speak for anyone else's deal, but I'm out there. I don't think mine is the same as ours. But I'm at the signing a 4-fight exclusive deal for Bellator, so I can't fight for Bama. Bama were, like I said, I've nothing bad to say about Bama. They're very good to me in terms of the whatchamacallit, in terms of the how they looked after me and treated me. They offered me a deal as well, but the Bellator came with one I just couldn't refuse. So, and like I said, the potential for fights against guys that I want to fight, I couldn't refuse that.
And as well, it's something we're greedy in a way here, Richard, because we're thinking, when's Bellator coming back to Ireland? When's Bellator coming back to Ireland? But are you happy? Do you want to go and fight maybe in the States and show the American fans, introduce them to the face of Bellator?
Yeah, of course. Like that's the goal. Like I love fighting in Ireland, and it's great, and the support is unreal. But like I said, I don't care, man. I'll fight anyone. And these guys are the guys that that I know I can beat. I fought these types of guys for years in the kickboxing ring, and I was knocking them out. So now it's the transition into a Bellator cage. It doesn't faze me at all. If anything, I'll be able to knock them out quicker with the smaller gloves. They can't hide behind the pillows in their hands. So yeah, I absolutely want to. And I think I have not only do I have the ability, I have the charisma to do very well over there. So I'd be very surprised if I don't fight over in the States by my second or third fight.
The last one on the contract, because I won't pry too much, is it exclusively MMA with Bellator kickboxing? Would you be dragged in between the ropes again?
Yeah, I'd like to punch the head off Raymond Daniels as well. So so why not? Why not? It's not. It's exclusively for MMA, but if that opportunity presented itself, like I said, he's one-dimensional as well. Very, very good at what he does, and you can't make a slip against him. But the blueprint was there. You see how Nicky Holskin fight. Nicky Holskin's a very, very basic fighter in terms of things. Very effective what he does, but he just cut off the ring, didn't give him space, and chopped the legs off him. These guys are singular shot fighters. All you need to do is Daley, like I said, is one-dimensional, but he's not a singular shot fighter. Like the likes of MVP and Daniels and all, these are singular shot fighters. You look for the spectacular KO. You stand off them, you'll give them that option. Cut them off, you don't give them space, they won't have that option. Like I said, I can do both. I can fight from distance and I can fight in close.
Well, I'd love to see. I'm delighted that you're back, first of all, because the world of MMA is going to be entertained. You certainly talk the talk, but you walk that walk as well. I'd be intrigued to see if the bigger gloves are put on as well with Bellator to showcase your full array of striking as well. But I look forward to the debut and to the build up to the debut, and it's good to have you back. I messaged you that day to say it's good you're back in the game.
Cheers, man. I really appreciate it. But like I said, I'm delighted now that I'm going to be able to show my full array of skills, because I still think people are sleeping on me. Like I said, after that Alex Lahore fight, people don't realise it took balls to get in there on one leg. That Terence refused that fight. It was only out of cast 4 weeks, and I get in on one leg, and I still rocked him with a jab. Could have buckled him, and I was, that fight had to stay in the feet a couple of even 30 seconds longer. I think I would have knocked him out. But here, stone. But like I said, now that I'm back, people are going to see the full array of skills, and this isn't fight speak either. And I'm going to be going around collecting "I told you so" and apologies after this. So, not if you know, like you or Robert.
Told you so. He likes us. Richard, again, thanks a million for joining us, taking the time out of your day, and like I said, really looking forward to seeing you getting back in there.
Gary stuff, lads. Great talking to you.
Cheers, mate.
Take care, man. Good luck. Bye. There you go. The forever entertaining Richard Kiely, who fucking lied to us.
Right to our faces, through a camera.
Face through camera from the other side of the
I'll tell you what, he doesn't pick easy fights. Raymond Daniels, one-dimensional. Give me him.
Yeah, MVP.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Knock him out. Yeah, that's Richard Kiely, ladies and gentlemen.
Big set of Irish balls, as he said.
Yeah, but man, you got to give it. I remember when we had him on the last time, we were sitting there going, So yeah, do you reckon he's really retired? We're going, I don't know. Do you reckon?
It's always the one where it's like, oh, if they give me this fight, I'll come back. That's when I'm always like, there's no way. Yeah. He has to be one to come back.
And funny when I seen Brazier sign with Bellator, I was
like, like a dog when someone knocks on the door. I was like, what?
Or one of them meerkats, you know.
Yeah.
Big fights coming up this weekend. UFC 227 goes down this week. 2 big rematches in your co-main and your main event. Let's get them on. The Doorman. So welcome back to obviously Fight Talk, and UFC 227 goes down this weekend. Could argue that it's potentially 4 of the best fighters in the UFC. Different weight classes are on display here this weekend. It's a return, it's a rematch, it's the heated Team Alpha Male. Can we move on from that, please, and just have it as 2 great fighters fighting each other? No better man to get on to break it down than Brendan Dorman. We're not saying he's the best, we're just saying there ain't nobody better. We've got to get that done on a t-shirt, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So Brendan, welcome back, my man, to OFT.
Thank you for having me back.
Cheers, man.
For people watching on YouTube, Brendan might be giving, as he always says, he doesn't have a dog in the race, but he might be giving that dog away with that t-shirt you're sporting today.
No.
Just a cool tee.
Just a shirt. I get them. They get sent to me. So.
Excellent.
TJ, send me a shirt. I'll wear yours.
Yeah, now there you go.
Fucking turncoat.
You snake. Yeah, so your main event, let's jump into it, boys. Your main event is TJ Dillashaw taking on Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah,
it is the rematch. It's the whole heated blood. The team, I think, I can't remember, I think it was Jack Slack during the week just said, all right, can we please move away from the Team Alpha?
I will say that I completely agree that I should move away from that, and we can kind of judge it just based on a fight, and that's what we will do, because that's what we generally do. But at least it is one of the only grudge matches in the UFC, really. The rest of them generally are just guys trying to promote a fight, but you can clearly see that these don't really like each other a whole lot, and I will give them that.
Well, you know, technically Conor Khabib could fall under the
I said
stuff.
One of the only.
Yeah, and I gave you another option, Robert.
2 of the only.
Okay. John Jones, Daniel Cormier.
I don't think Ferguson and Khabib like each other all that much either.
You know,
Cormier, John Jones.
How many fights are in the UFC in a year?
Ronda and...
I know what he's saying, though, in a way. You know how sometimes you can tell is after their first fight, there was like the respect, kinda.
Kind
for
of
a second.
Yeah, like Cody didn't want to be a dick because he just got knocked out, so he was like, "Oh, I'll give you a little pat on the back," and then immediately straight after, you're like, "Oh, fuck this guy, he's terrible." But that's what I mean. At least
that's kind of a tell, but it also goes to show you, and both of them in interviews are pretty candid with this. Like, I know how dangerous X is.
You
know, like they're both very, very honest about each other as far as like, you know. What the potential danger is.
Well, I think, you know, they've both felt each other's power. So it's like you got to respect that, you know. So let's dive into it. The first fight, I think to look at this one, we got to look at the first one because
it's not too long ago, which is good.
Yep. Like looking at it, Cody Garbrandt had his moments. It looked like Cody was going to get this fight done in the first round. Potentially saved by the bell. TJ Dillashaw, would he recover? Oh boy, would he.
Yeah. He got a lot of time to recover. He just got dropped. I think it was 5 seconds left in it, so he had that full 30 seconds to recover. But you have to say, you do, like, even if you go and pick TJ in this one, you do have to say that he was hurt badly in that first round. Badly. He was limping back to it. Not limping, but he was staggering back to his corner.
On Queer Street, Rob.
On Queer Street, But I think it was very impressive how quick he did recover. But I think that just goes to show you the kind of athlete that TJ Dillashaw is.
Or the vitriol that we just mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Like the moxie to get back up.
Yeah.
I'm sure the burlap sack of ice they put on the back of his head didn't hurt. You know, wake him up a little bit. I think him and Dwayne have a very unique and amazing, you know, coach athlete relationship. That's fun to watch too. I love that whole element. Cody's hits as hard as anyone at 135 I've seen ever, maybe. And he's so fast.
Yeah.
This fight is just as much anyone's as the last one was.
Yeah.
It's just like you have one, just flip it up.
Yeah.
Because they're not equal because they're not the same kind of fighter, right? Like where one is more like TJ's a little more creative, right? He's got more in his Swiss Army knife, but like Cody's might be sharper. You know, I don't know if that analogy works exactly, but I'm trying to
I know what you mean.
Trying to put a spin on it. What I'm going to be interested in this one is, will we see any grappling? You know, I want to see how they, because in the countdown episode they showed some of them like grappling in practice, and it looked pretty heated. And Cody does like a lot of grappling with Mendez too, who's an amazing grappler still. Like he just tapped Jeff Glover, who's one of the best ever. Just this fight's fucking awesome.
I rewatched the fight last night, and one thing I did notice, and I don't know if you noticed this, Brendan, I'm not sure if I'm correct about this, but this is how I felt.
Brother.
Huh?
I don't miss much.
Cool. Let's see if you got this one, and let's see if we're on the same wavelength. I hope this is correct, or I hope you feel this way as well. I feel like they're both, when they start fights, they both start in very different ways, but the same in a way. So I feel like TJ is the type of guy who will go out there and he'll throw a lot of feints and move a lot and try make reads based on the movements he makes, whereas Cody is more so, he won't throw a whole lot, he'll wait and see what they throw, and then he'll attack, he'll blitz based on their movement. So they do the same thing. They'll open up with reads, but in different ways, very different ways.
Yeah, it's not like this reckless pursuit of the other, right? It's not Vanderlei in his prime, or just, I'm thinking of a constant forward pressure type striker. Neither of them are that. Cody is more of a counter striker, whereas TJ will create offense. And you saw in the first fight, like you said, like TJ would try to cut in on something crazy, and he was missing real bad with like leg kicks at first, so he was not getting the timing down at all of Cody. And Cody was getting his timing down clearly, not just on the punch that he landed at the end, but before that, those little like blitz flurries with the short hooks that he does, he kind of alternates his feet. It's like, everyone calls it shifting. You can call it whatever you want. Name's not important, but his legs are crossing each other, so you drag your hip power with you with each hook, you know? And his speed is just ridiculous. That right hand, that short, tight little four he lands, that knocked him down. I did a breakdown of Cody before that fight, and he's clipped like everyone with that. Yeah. Because he takes his head way off and uses his head break off the center line to then create a whip with this arm. You know, if that makes sense. It's kind of similar to Chuck Liddell's overhand in motion, but with way better head movement. You know, fascinating shit.
One thing I noticed as well.
Yes, Rob, that's 100% accurate. It's just one is more patient and doesn't like do these like little like weird little like kind of, you know, snake charming tricks.
Snake charming, yeah.
Snake charmer,
yeah.
Oops, Freudian.
One thing as well I noticed was
because TJ's a snake, right?
Yeah, snake in the grass. Wasn't that's what some Irish guy said, wasn't it?
It's a snake.
Yeah. I love the way people still post that on his Instagram.
Yeah. Well, he's embracing it now.
I know.
All his t-shirts have snakes on them.
Yeah.
Do you remember his walkout t-shirt had all this shit?
Why not? Yeah, go for it.
It's a good name.
One thing I didn't know.
It's kind of funny. Just roll with it, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you can't really hide it. Like he did.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mystic Mac.
One thing I did notice as well in the second round when TJ hurt him, it was actually he hurt him a counter to that right hand that he got caught with in the first one. So I think that kind of shows the mid-fight changes that TJ can make. I'm not sure if Garbrandt is as clever as TJ in that way. I think TJ went southpaw in that exchange and then caught him with almost like that Dan Hardy, Carlos Condit trading hook.
Yeah. And it was he quickly switched, like he did a shift again, but a different one, not because he wasn't forward moving really. It was more lateral. So he went from traditional and then did a real quick switch to southpaw to make that tighter. Yeah. So his lead right, it was a lead right hook. Not, you know, normally a orthodox fighter would be a 4, but it became a 3. And he ended up getting to target way faster to Cody because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some fight IQ.
Do you think, because I've watched the build up to it, so I'll bring in the emotional. You are breaking technique down here. I'll bring the emotional aspect into it. As you said, Rob, it's one of the only rivals that's true in MMA.
It's true.
But do you think that first fight, Garbrandt fought too much in emotion? And
I hope he didn't see that and then caught
it. I did see it. And I'll take that finger off. Do you think he fought too much on emotion, and that almost in itself was draining? And by knocking TJ down, coming into the second round, he thought the fight was on its way to being finished. It was just headhunting.
Do you know what's a weird one? I thought that, but then when you go back and you watch the Dominic Cruz fight, it seemed like he was fighting with emotion in that fight as well.
Breakdancing in the middle.
But it seemed like he was fighting with emotion as well. He came in clearly annoyed at Dominic Cruz. Like, if you watch all the build up to that as well, he seemed so pissed off. I'm not really sure.
The reason why I'm making that point is I'm judging it off the interview I watched the other night at UFC on Fox, and like Garbrandt seemed pretty relaxed. He didn't seem like the lad. Like, he's, God bless him, he's the worst trash talker.
He has a kid now.
No, I'm gonna, fucking, knock you out. Yeah, because I will. Way to go. But
one of you guys referenced the Tito Shamrock
that was
thing.
Me,
I was dying.
Yeah, that was me. I love that. That's one of my favorites. So I'll go back to that.
Yeah. Chair kick anyway.
But that's what I mean.
Want my take on that?
Yeah, go.
I think he's an emotional guy.
Yeah.
Let him be. He's good at it.
I agree.
And
he was ready to fight some 260-pound bodybuilder at his gym because the guy talks shit on Twitter. That's who Cody is.
Yeah.
Let him be him. If I'm his coach, I let him be that. I wouldn't advocate street fighting, right? But let him be emotional. He fights well emotionally. No, I don't think it's clouding his judgment, in other words.
So what adjustments do you think Cody Garbrandt needs to make to get the W?
Grapple.
That was real American, wasn't it? To get the W. That's for you American listeners. You're welcome.
Why you guys don't say I get the W? I don't think I do either.
No, to win. No, but it's real UFC. It's real John Anik.
Yeah, get the W.
Yeah, it's very John Anik.
Iron jeans, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate her.
But anyway, what does he need to do to adjust to get the win?
Maybe, like, I don't know if he literally has to grapple, but, like, change his pacing, maybe. Maybe be more aggressive and not counter. One of them has to adjust, right? And I think everyone assumes it'll be TJ that comes in with this, brilliant kind of Musashi strategy where he thought about it for 2 months and they've been mapping it out in some lab. Cody could very well be the one that switches up the approach to it. You know, like TJ when he fought Captain Caveman. What's his name? He was taking him down with that beautiful, like, shifting. He did like a blitz shift. What's the guy with the chin? Stocky guy.
Captain
Brazil.
Rafael Sanso.
No. God damn it. He's got crazy power. He's short.
Lineker.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That fight where TJ looked like a wizard, right? Because it was game planning, right? So a lot of times, like, I think people are thinking, okay, TJ will make the adjustments. Maybe he'll win again. I don't know what the odds are, but I'm kind of assuming here a little bit.
The odds.
You don't know what the odds are? Well, Brendan, I'll tell them for you. And we've Americanized them for you, Brendan. TJ is minus 115 and Garbrandt is minus 105.
Sounds about right.
That's a pick-em, though.
Yeah, sounds about right.
That's essentially a pick-em.
Yeah.
So, that's the right line, really.
Yeah.
But I would just think even like the smarter of the fans or the analysts would look at it and go, well, TJ is more likely to switch it up, and Cody's going to try to just, rely on what's always worked for him. He's only lost once.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and he was this close to winning the last one. So you don't know. But if he does come out and right away he's super aggressive, because we don't see TJ move backward very often.
No.
If he can get him to move backward, it can be a very different fight. And Cody's got the speed to do it, and he's definitely got the power to do it. You know?
Yeah.
So I think he's got a circle straight, like kind of like he fought Almeida.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I think after that first round, if the tables were turned, I don't think TJ would have laid back the way Cody did. Cody had him really hurt and then went back to the exact same game plan he had in the first round, lay back and then try blitz him. And then TJ made an adjustment and finished him. I think if that was TJ, I think TJ would have went after him. Even if TJ was playing more of the counter game in the first, I think TJ would have went straight after him. While he's clearly still hurt, like, you have 30 seconds, you can recover. A minute. Sorry, but you can recover, but like, can you recover that much?
Do you guys recall when I talked about the last one, when we were dissecting the last one beforehand, and I was saying that I called the left high kick, but I didn't necessarily know that would be the difference maker. My point being that it worried me when Cody fought Dominic that he was dancing rather than finishing.
Yeah.
And I said TJ will not give him that same liberty, and that's exactly what happened. When he caught him, he stayed on him.
Yeah.
And that's in the literal and the abstract kind of thing. Because the head kick didn't finish him. He was still on his feet. It was that he knew his equilibrium was dancing a little bit, caught in, closed the distance, landed the right, and then literally like leapt on him and finished it.
In some ways,
fucking incredible.
In some ways, are we rooting for Garbrandt that we get to see a trilogy here?
I know what you mean.
In a way.
Yeah, in a way. In a way. Yeah.
I don't think it's the last time they fight, no matter what the result. Anyway, I don't think it's they're both young. They're both going to be at the same. You know.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a phenomenal fight, isn't it? It's a great.
I do love parody, though. You know, like the parody that everyone spells wrong, like it's
parody.
A comedy show. Yeah, they always spell it like it's parody with a T.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be more interesting to me in a way.
I agree.
Picks.
I'm gonna go with Dillashaw. I just think he's cleverer. I think.
Worth noting, because we just listened back as well. Worth noting, first time round, Rob picked Garbrandt.
And so did you.
What did I say?
Yeah, I don't think you made a pick. Yeah, I'm going to go with TJ. I also think your point of them making adjustments in this fight, I don't know what Cody's training setup is like, but it seems like Team Alpha Male's a bit of a mess at the moment. So I like the way TJ has built his camp. It's almost like a boxing camp. He kind of brings in the guys he wants to bring in, has a trainer, and it's all focused on him. I'm going to go with TJ. Maybe a decision. I don't know if he's going to finish him this time.
I'm actually on TJ with this one as well, and what was quite funny...
It's going to be Cody.
But what was quite funny about it the last time was, Brendan, I was rewatching him going, because I couldn't remember who I picked. Because, you know, sometimes you make these picks and you just forget about it. And I was watching back the footage, and there I am talking all about TJ's footwork, his movement, how he pepper with the jab, get in, get out. He'd be a missed target. Garbrandt would be sitting heavy on his shots, trying to get that home run, fighting with emotion. TJ's going to bob in, get out, not get hit, land bad,
and who you pick?
Garbrandt. I basically gave my whole reason why I would pick Dillashaw, and then when it came to my pick, I went Garbrandt.
Yeah.
So, for my full breakdown of this fight, watch the last episode, but this time I'm actually going to go with TJ. Brendan, I think you're nailing it. I think TJ is going to come with a different look. He's not going to be the same TJ Dillashaw as the last time. He's evolving constantly as a fighter. Don't get me wrong, Garbrandt is also evolving, but not to the same... He's involving a similar game plan, if you know what I mean. Like he's a similar fighter each time. He just gets sharper and maybe better speed, maybe better footwork. Well, TJ Dillashaw can look completely different to his last performance. He might try something completely different, almost the way DJ does it. Demetrius Johnson does it. He will change. He'll look like a different fighter. If you're a Muay Thai fighter, well, fuck it, I'll beat you as a Muay Thai fighter. If you're a BJ black belt, I'll tap you out.
A BJ black belt.
Yeah. BJJ black belt. I have to J out.
I'm in a few of those.
But take it away from me. Let it that.
No, we won't. That's staying in.
But I just think that TJ is going to show a different look here. He's going to be a different fighter, and he'll have just too much for Cody Garbrandt. And I think he will finish him again. 5 rounds fight. I think he'll get him out of there again.
Yeah.
Are you picking it?
I'm going to cop out on this one. I don't have. I'm not picking a winner. But I think I've explained the routes for each.
The fans will win, Brendan. Yeah. The fans will win.
The fans win. Yay! I do see a finish. I think those two know each other too well to not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
they're
think
crazy.
And they're both, That's one of those fights that could go 5 rounds and be amazing, though. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to have a finish for me to enjoy it. I can't imagine. I can't remember the last time either of them fought that I didn't like the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those two bring the fucking fight.
They're great.
Against each other,
they're great.
They're great. And they're also...
to 11.
Yeah, it goes to 11, and they're also very offensive.
Whoever makes the better adjustment and or wins the grappling war, I have a feeling we're going to see some wrestling this time out.
They probably
that's kind of what we want to watch for. You know me, I like to kind of see him move around for a round or half a round.
Co-main event, Demetrius Johnson, another rematch. Henry Cejudo is the opponent. This, for me, you could argue that this win by DJ in the original fight was one of his most dominant victories in the octagon. Although he tends to dominate most of his wins, it was how he done it with the knee. It was his Muay Thai plum that really got it done, if I remember correctly, wasn't it? It was
those circle knees up to the ribs, and then he hit him in the head with one.
And it was weird. It was weird because Cejudo was really seen as the guy that was going to challenge DJ, and then he went and he got beaten again by Benavides. Beat him after that, but then he had 2 huge wins. The Wilson Heist win was spectacular, and then a big win as well over Sergio Pettis. Do we see what? Like, I think we've talked a lot about Demetrius Johnson, so I'm not going to devalue Demetrius Johnson by not giving him the full breakdown, as I'm sure, because Brendan, you're masterful when you talk about DJ. But what, in a sense, does Henry Cejudo have to do? What is the hole in the game of Demetrious Johnson? How does he beat the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC? How does he change the result from the original fight?
You know what's interesting? Honestly, I'm going to give this advice for free, but I almost got paid for it. Because did I tell you guys this?
No.
Cejudo's camp reached out to me.
Oh, sweet.
No.
Before the fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, before the original?
This was, 2 months ago.
All right.
I think I might have told Rogan, and I told my friend Elijah. I think that those are the only two I told. I wanted to keep it close to vest in case it went. Well, it didn't happen. That's why I didn't tell you guys. But the point, there was a communication breakdown because the coach, whoever was reaching out to me, I think there was like a language barrier. I was like, this is a monumental fucking task. I didn't say that to the guy, but it just kind of fell apart because I told him I want Henry to contact me. Like I have to talk to the fighter. So it doesn't work to me to talk to another coach only. I have to talk to the fighter. I got to see where their head's at. So I was supposed to be having this answer, like it was Volcan or something, very similar, but it didn't happen. Anyway, I watched Wilson Hayes versus Cejudo again, or just like an hour ago. And those adjustments he made in his striking in that short amount of time, and the fact that, if anything, he's definitely a better wrestler than DJ, you'd think, right? Although DJ did that elevator from Butterfly on him last time after that beautiful inside reap that he did. I think it's going to be closer this time. I think Henry's got to keep on that bike he's been on of improvement. He's like you just mentioned about TJ and DJ and people that are improving. You see version 2 and then 3, and you know what I mean. They're constantly changing as fighters. They're the chameleon effect, if you will. He needs to do that. He needs to stay the course. Just get better at the things you were lacking last time. I think he thought he'd dominate in the clinch, and like Duke was telling me about, I believe I know who it was. It was Ben Askren when he went to Thailand. And he's so used to killing everyone in the clinch here, But when he went to Thailand, he was getting smoked in the clinch. Yeah. So when you start thinking about it in those regards, right? Because someone like awful name, brain fart, Matt, his coach, DJ's coach.
Brain fart.
Bad.
Holy moly.
Anyway,
it'll come to me.
That guy, Jesus Christ. He's a genius, but he's so brilliant when it comes to Muay Thai too. Not just grappling. So, DJ's got all of that figured out. And when have we seen him vulnerable, really? The most vulnerable he looked was against that tall dude after the UFC Ultimate Fighter show for the fight or whatever. I forget the guy's name.
Tim Elliott, yeah.
Matt
terrible with names today. Tim Elliott, because it was a match the video game attack kind of thing. And I think that's usually when guys that are as good as DJ tend to struggle, you know? It's just these weird attacks, but just stay the course. Let's see if he keeps with that kind of bladed striking, that piston of a right hand, those head kicks that were showing up out of nowhere. You never know. You really never know.
For me, I think it's kind of like what you said in the last one. I think it has to be grappling. I do, because the only time we've really seen DJ have any issue was with big grapplers or big guys who can grapple him. Dominic Cruz grappled him. Dominic Cruz was actually getting beat up a little bit on the feet by DJ. DJ was actually piecing up a little bit, and then Dominic was obviously a bigger guy and got him to the ground. Tim Elliott was a huge guy who could grapple with him and done decent in the grappling. And also Uncle Creepy, Ian McCall, done really well in that kind of tournament fight with grappling. I think that's really the only way you're going to challenge DJ, if you can mix your grappling.
Isn't it like if you look at the likes of Ray Borg, great grappler, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying DJ can still catch it, but I mean, I think not really. You're not going to take him down submitting, but I think if you can take him down and maybe get some positions on him, just get some positions on him and work him for a couple of rounds, I think you might get some success.
An Olympic gold medalist is very, very heavy on top.
Yeah.
No longer has his gold medal, lost in the fires, didn't he?
What's up, bud?
He lost his gold medal in the fires that time.
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo.
Oh, that's right. That's sad.
Wouldn't you swear the Olympics would give him another medal, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
you think so?
Really gold.
They're all corrupt.
That's a fucking.
Don't get me started. Icarus, have you seen it?
The last time when he took him down, right, after the inner reef, DJ immediately was able to get heel to hips.
Yeah.
But if there's a longer run of that,
Yeah. But that's difficult, isn't it? It's hard to say. But what I do like is that even though Cejudo lost that one to Joseph Benavidez the second time, I think he was almost in like a transition period, and then we saw the improvements he made later.
Point.
But I also think that fight was close anyway. I don't think that was a lot of people scored that to Cejudo, but I think that was a transition period.
But
for him.
Isn't it funny with TJ or DJ? This is the problem if this super fight ever happens. DJ is that the amount of times we get guys like one that really stood out for me was Horiguchi. When Horiguchi was fighting, we were like, oh my god, Horiguchi's an animal. He's going to cause so much trouble, and DJ absolutely
beats
destroyed
everybody.
him. So again, this is one. DJ in a way reminds me of Joanna. Everybody but everyone had that unbeatable. Can't be beat until they're beat, that way. And Henry Cejudo, he's been in there, he tasted the flavour, now he's gone off and he's learned, and he's, as you said, he's gone through an evolution as a fighter. So what can he offer different? And that's the thing, in a way, it'd be interesting to see Johnson's DJ's mindset here, because he's beaten the guy, so it's hard. Conor McGregor regularly speaks about, I don't want to fight a guy that I've polished off already.
I get you.
And so it's weird to think that he's
So
the fact that he finished him, and it's, don't get me wrong, as much as DJ is a phenomenal fighter, there's not too many guys who's got out of there in round one. So you'd wonder. Now, I think he's such a pro and he's such a master that I don't think that's going to come into it, but I just think it's something.
I think and also you're facing an Olympic gold medalist, so I think he knows how quick.
He's gonna. It'd be because he lost.
Any
X factor.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick.
I had two things real quick about this.
Go for it.
One is an addendum to what you just said, Noel. If I were to have worked with him leading up to this fight, if I was going to try to get him to do something or learn something, it was going to be trapping on the ground. If you can use that heavy weight that he already has, as much experience as anyone, you do not win an Olympic gold medal in wrestling and not have an incredible amount of control from the top. But you got to learn to tie wrists up because you're striking now. It's a new game. So I would have been like, here's what Neil Melanson does. I would have just been on this crazy kind of ground striking, right? So strike your way into your takedowns and work on your ground striking. But methodically, Khabib or Brock Lesnar, me or UFC 100 we just talked about, like those scenarios. It's the only way I really see DJ ever losing, honestly.
Yeah.
Would be like that, like getting pieced up from the top. Do I think that's going to happen? No, not necessarily. Now, as an addendum to just what you were saying, or just an extension really, Noel, is like, I was thinking similarly about it. Like, George St. Pierre, Matt Hughes won, right? When George was like, couldn't look at him during the stare down, lost that. He was kind of winning, but he was fighting way too nervous, right? Because he destroyed him the second and third fight, even more so in the third.
Yeah.
But he was the better fighter, but he lost that day. Henry Cejudo's only been doing MMA for 4 years. Don't forget that. That's crazy. He's in his second title fight against the most skilled fighter ever.
Yeah.
I think George has the better resume. I think he's the best skilled guy ever. So this is it's fascinating. I want to see where Henry's at now. I want to see what adjustments have been made.
Yeah. And again, being that Olympic medalist, he can get so much better. He's got so good at a certain art that he's gonna get better. I just don't think he's really. I don't think he's there yet.
No.
Or will he ever be? Probably. I don't know. I'm gonna go with DJ.
That's the thing. Yeah. DJ's that good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go DJ.
Yeah, I'm going DJ as well, and I do think Cejudo will have huge improvements in his game. Yeah. I think the wrestling is a great point, but as you said, Brendan, as well, if them hands land, he's carrying serious power down at that weight class as well. So I'm not saying there's not a chance, but I just think Demetrius Johnson has I think he's faced every possible type of fighter that can be thrown at him, and as much as Cejudo is obviously a master in wrestling and his striking is evolving, hey, look, guy, you're up against a guy who is a master in all of these disciplines as well for mixed martial arts. Maybe if this was a straight up wrestling bout, you're going to be picking Cejudo, but this ain't just a wrestling bout, it's MMA. And I just think Demetrius Johnson has the cheat sheet for all these guys, and he knows all the answers. I'm going to go with DJ.
He's an absolute wizard. He's a fucking wizard.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick against him. I mean, it'd be crazy too. But I will say, if there's a guy that I've ever seen compete at 125 that has any chance, it's Cejudo.
Yeah.
Because like Pettis, for instance, Sergio looks awesome, right? But we see what happens like against, you know, when he went with Cejudo. It's like he has this hole that's always going to be there. And if you don't think DJ sees that and will exploit it, you're crazy. He's the most mixed martial artist ever. He's good at everything. Yeah. He's amazing at everything.
It's phenomenal.
You know? Yeah. So I wouldn't... I would be shocked if Cejudo won, but it's possible. You know, like it's possible.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Cub Swanson takes on Renato Canaro, and this is... Cub's in a weird position, isn't
Very
he?
weird position, yeah. This doesn't feel like a good fight for him.
No.
It doesn't feel like a good fight for him. It feels like they re-signed him, and this is terrible to say, but they re-signed him to let other guys make a name for themselves.
Name off him.
Play gatekeeper.
Yeah, it really does.
Yep.
This seems like
I thought the same fucking thing.
Yeah, this seems like a terrible fight. I think Moicano, watch his fights back. Moicano could be easily contending for a title. He was beating Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
He was beating Brian Ortega.
He was piecing him up, and that wasn't that long ago.
No, that was like, what, a year ago, if even?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He was piecing him up on the feet.
Very good.
And then he went for a weird takedown. I don't know why he went for the takedown, and I wouldn't mind. It was actually a great shot. It was a really well-timed shot. It's just Brian Ortega's an absolute, as you said, wizard on the floor. I'm not sure why he went for it. I think maybe Moicano, Canero, whichever way you want to call him, I think maybe he was thinking, oh, this could be a closer fight than I think it is, even though I think he was winning it.
Yeah.
I'll go for takedown.
I'll
guess
around.
But man, what a terrible decision by him. But he was piecing them up, and if you watch his striking, it's all right down the middle, and you always talk about this, and I picked this up from you. All them shots down the middle are much better than all them looping shots.
Just like Ronda.
Yeah, yeah.
Where she busts like this.
Yeah. Turn over the fist.
Not that straight. That's kind of winging it.
And they were wobbly. They were like noodle arms. It was weird looking.
Her shadow box used to make me like, I get douche chills.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather is lucky that fight never happened. That's all.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that this is a bad stylistic matchup for Cub.
Yeah, I agree.
But Cub always surprises us.
No, he does.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not saying he can't win.
Kick wins, you know?
I love Cub Swanson, and he's also currently repping a gangster tash.
Is he? Haven't seen it.
Is he?
Yeah. He had a picture up on Instagram. Now he looks fucking in shape.
I'm gone with Cub Swanson.
But he is representing a killer tash.
Awesome.
He's such a creative dude. He's
awesome.
He's fun.
Yeah.
I love watching Cub fight. I have the same concerns, you know.
Yeah.
Moving down to card, Viana takes on JJ Aldridge. Rob?
Don't know why this is on the main card. I watched a little bit because I was trying to see. No, I don't look at the other fights on the card.
Yeah.
I've picked some female fights as my under the radar, and you slagged me over that. I'm not sure.
Win this.
It's their diversity.
It seems like the UFC. I think I moved the camera. I think the UFC are trying to build Viana up. Her striking seems pretty bad from what I've seen. She keeps her hands right down by her waist, but she has good grappling and good credentials. I'm gonna say JJ Aldridge just because she's a huge underdog. I'm gonna go with that one.
I'll stick with the bookies' favourite. There you go, Viana. Thiago Santos taking on Kevin Holland. Rob also wants to lay a bet on this one, I believe.
I think this is a good bet. What's the odds on this one?
Holland is a plus 240.
That's a pretty big underdog, right? Pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not like insane, but he's the underdog.
Santos minus 300.
Santos, for me, I think he's an excellent kicker, really powerful kicker, and when he gets his kicking game going, he's good. But if you look at the David Branch fight, if you look at the Gegard Mousasi fight, and I know these are better fighters than Holland at this point, but if you look at that, once someone gets their boxing game going, his hands come down, he doesn't put his hands up, doesn't move his head, and he just gets knocked out. That Gegard Mousasi one was the weirdest one ever because he tried to go for a technical stand-up from on the bottom in guard, stood up, and Gegard just punched him on the way up and knocked him out. What the hell?
Yeah, it was like a flash.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And everything was right up until then, too. He's powerful.
Yeah.
He's dangerous, but he's reckless.
Reckless. Very reckless, especially with his hands.
Yeah.
But he's like...
So if what's his name?
Holland?
The opponent there. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but if he can keep things, like you said, linear, right, and accurate, like, you gotta not load up. The Dustin thing, did I not call that fucking shit, like, right on? It's all about, I'm not even, no, it's not because I'm
joking.
psychic, it's
joking.
just patterns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if he's just accurate, you don't have to kill the guy.
Yeah.
When someone's reckless, let them be reckless, have tight defense, throw straight punches, use angles.
Yeah.
We're not creating the atom bomb here.
Yeah, I'm going to put a double on the JJ Aldridge and this one, just because you're going to get some huge odds, and I think they have a good chance because Holland
He's got a crazy head kick, so don't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. 100%. Santos can knock him out.
I think they're doing this for subscriptions and all that sort of shit. Brett Johns, Pedro Nunes is the main event on the undercard.
That's your under the radar, I guess.
Yeah. Like Brett.
Like
Brett. I
Brett.
haven't talked to him. Had dinner with him. He's a nice guy.
How romantic was that?
We're friends now.
That's a good fight,
Brett
though.
Johns, he got the calf slicer. Remember Brett Johns? He got that cool calf slicer.
Welch dude. He's good.
Calf slicer's that's a cool submission. You don't see it often in MMA.
I think it's a tough fight for him, though.
Yeah, it is a tough fight.
I think
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is the subscription thing. They want to put some decent fights on the Fight Pass prelim, so they're gonna try to get people to watch.
There's a woman on the card who's got a fucking silhouette only. It drives me crazy. Like, they can't really. You're $4 billion you just went for, and you can't get a picture. But anyway, there's a woman on the card on the Fight Pass who's like a silhouette. I think she's 11-1. It's a weird name. Everything about her stats look like she's a killer. But I don't know. I didn't know much about her until I was looking today.
I'm gonna have to go on.
Is it Weili Zhang?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at her, dude. Look at her knockout and submission.
Wow.
Like her finishing rate.
Let me have a look at that. Jesus Christ. I don't know who these are that she's fighting, but
she doesn't go to decision, man.
No.
Danielle Taylor
whoever that is, I don't know much about her, but numbers don't lie, as they say.
There is something to be said about that. Like, even if you look at her record and say, oh, well, the fighters she's fought aren't the best, but there is something to be said about going undefeated for that long and getting all them knockouts. You have to be at least talented.
Like, besides maybe Amanda Nunes, and even her you could include, really. And Cyborg, how many women are finishers, like, in the real true sense of the word? Not a ton.
Currently,
like, as far as with knockouts, like power, it's different. It's a bone structure thing.
She is on a 16-fight win streak. 15 of them wins coming by way of stoppage.
Jesus Christ,
dude! Right.
Let's watch her. Let's
guaranteed to go to decision.
Like, I want to see what I just want to. What is she hot too? Like, what else is there to this mystery silhouette of a woman?
Damn it,
that's Brandon's under the radar. I'll go with Jose Torres and Alex Perez. Jose Torres, I think he made his UFC debut not too long ago, and he won when his opponent slammed himself to the mat and knocked himself out. Remember
Great
that?
Stuff, yeah.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But Jose Torres, I think he came in with a bit of hype, and he seems like a pretty good fighter. And he fights Alex Perez, who's also good, and I think that should be a good fight.
That's Shorty
Torres, yeah.
Just like an Instagram picture or something with me.
Yeah.
I got a notification of it, yeah.
Cool.
I shut my phone off for this usually.
That was Brendan Dorman. He doesn't have a dog in the race, as he says, but he's wearing a Cody Garbrandt shirt while we're talking breakdowns. But hey,
great stuff.
People send him stuff.
That was awesome, though.
Rob cut us off. We were talking about Sacha Baron Cohen, whatever his name is. Why can't I say his name?
Sacha Baron Cohen.
That's him. But Rob cut it off. So I thought it was making the edit. It didn't. No. We said some funny stuff.
He was talking, and I stood up and I turned off the camera. And then when I sat back down, he goes, "Are we still rolling?" And I was like, "No, I turned off the camera. But you're not watching. You were looking in my direction."
I don't pay attention to it. The world doesn't revolve around Robert. This has been obviously Fight Talk episode 117. If you want more this week, check out Rob. He's live chat on Wednesday at home. Who will his guest be this week? Have you lined it up?
No.
Maybe
Brendan. I'll ask Brendan.
So he'll be on. It'll be a regular feature. Later, I'm sure it'll be Jason, Tom, or Brendan. Will come on. So if you haven't already, subscribe here so you don't miss the notification. Turn the notification on. Leave a review everywhere. So we're on Spotify. We're on Podcast Republic. We're on wherever you listen to. That's where we are.
On YouTube.
Leave a review. 5 stars. The lads are great. The Cracks banter is deadly. The lads are cool. But this has been 117, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to Richard Kiely, Brendan Dorman, MMA Mix.
Dan Movahedi.
Left Daniel. Referee's Corner. Hungover Daniel Movahedi. Great stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Join Rob on Wednesday night, and I'll see you next week. Peace.